A real pleasure to be here this morning to discuss this session, Green for Growth, a reality check. Put simply, a healthy construction industry must be a central part of any plan to securing sustained growth. Now, the green sector here in Britain is a success story. It's the 6th largest green sector in the world. We hold our own globally with traditional innovation giants like Germany and Japan, as well as with the rising economies like India and Brazil. And I want to mention here, obviously, the Green Deal, our new initiative to transform our housing stock. Under the auspices of this programme, a substantial 45 different types of improvement are offered, with over 125 million of funding available under the government-funded cashback scheme. The prize here is enormous. Around 8 million households could benefit from solid wall insulation. 4 million could benefit from cavity insulation. And there are promising signs that there will be a corresponding boost in employment opportunities too. Around 60,000 jobs are expected to be supported by the insulation sector alone by 2015, up from 26,000 back in 2011. And I'm quite clear that notwithstanding the economic difficulties, there is huge market potential for the construction industry as we seek to create a more sustainable UK-built environment. That's why I co-chair the Green Construction Board with Mike Putnam. For the construction industry, green and growth, the two business opportunities, are really just two sides of the same coin. But the start, of course, is knowing what those opportunities are. So I was delighted yesterday that the Green Construction Board launched its low-carbon construction route map. That starts to set out those opportunities, although it's obvious from that route map that there is still much work to do. So at a very challenging time for the economy, our objective is clear: to set a course for this industry that will enable it to capitalise on the growth opportunities in sustainable construction, with benefits extended right across the supply chain. We're well placed to deliver that here in the United Kingdom, and I'm committed to helping you do so.
Now, I believe that the business case for green remains very strong and remains a compelling one. I also believe that it's important to have very strong, clear leadership. And that leadership needs to be applied at project level, it needs to be applied at programme level with a series of projects, and most importantly, it needs to be applied at company level and also at country level. Now, my company Skanska hold green very much as a clear value, and we believe that green business is real and will grow over time. Indeed, today, something like 60% of all our projects are to the greener end of pure compliance with standards that are already out there. Now, the Green Construction Board, which is made up of a lot of leaders from across industry and senior government figures, we all believe in this agenda. But no one's pretending that it's an easy journey. There are no quick wins. And as I said right at the start, I very much believe that leadership is key. Leadership from government, from clients, from the supply chain, and all stakeholders. And it's not just leadership from the top, but it's also leadership down throughout our organisations. It must occur at all levels. As I say, in my company, we see the opportunity for green as a value, but also green business. We also, despite the economic conditions, we see green growing.
I'd like to echo the Minister's earlier statement that we think it isn't a conversation about green versus growth. In fact, green versus growth is absolutely a false choice. It's very much green and growth. They're two sides of the same coin. They go together. And the work we've been doing at the CBI and the report that we put out last year, The Colour of Growth, exactly made that point. It's a false choice to say green or growth. We should be talking about both of them. And the part of that was to say that it isn't complementary to growth. Green is absolutely vital to growth. We know that the green economy is growing. The UK's market now stands at something like £120 billion. And what is most noticeable is the green market and green businesses have been growing steadily throughout the economic downturn. Green business is exporting and creating jobs. And while the economy as a whole is in trade deficit, what we found in the work we did last year is that actually the green economy is in a trade surplus of about £5 billion a year. And where we're forging really strong links are in the emerging economies in the BRIC countries, exactly the place where we need to be exporting to. In terms of jobs as well, green business is employing just under 1 million people right across the UK in lots of different companies of lots of different sizes in lots of different regions. We think this is going to be a key year because we will put in place this year vision, plans, a strategy for how we can grow the sector out to 2025. And all of this adds up to the fact that green and construction go together. Construction is good for green and it is also good for growth.
The challenge that we have is at the moment, over the last 5 years, we've been rolling out anything from 500,000 to 120,000 new homes each year. 1% of those are aspiring to be something like what we need in 2016. So that means that 99%, rough figures, are going to need a thermal upgrade or going to need an upgrade. We can look at that as a problem, or we can look at that as an opportunity that we've got some stock that needs to be addressed to get it towards nearly zero carbon. There are challenges that we've all got to face and address. Industry, education, research units together. There are problems, that gives us work to do, but there are areas that we can move forward on. Thank you.
We've got the Green Investment Bank, that's £3 billion of money being set aside up to 2015. I think that shows the government's green credentials. And we are driving towards a low carbon economy. You've seen all the investment that's going into wind farms now, not always popular, but that is the low carbon route. And we are now attempting for the first time in 20 years to get new nuclear build.
What sort of take-up do you expect from the Green Deal, and by what time?
We're rather resistant to targets. You saw what happened under previous governments where they got hooked onto targets. But I gave some indication when I spoke of the scope, of the enormous scope, the millions of homes that could benefit from the Green Deal. What we have got to do is raise awareness of it, particularly amongst consumers themselves. Okay. Here we understand it, but it's out there. We've got to get the public to understand it too.
And Rhian Kelly, you touched on that. You were saying you need it from the government. The government's got to give more confidence, or give people confidence that this is going to work. When you say confidence, what do you mean?
Well, I think there is a definite excitement in the business community around the Green Deal. Most conversations I have with businesses talk about it, and they definitely see a market will emerge. I guess the challenge is, do people know about it? Because you need people to know about it to want to go and get it, and I think there's more we could do to sweeten it, to incentivise people to want the Green Deal.
We also have, and Rhian touched on this, the Green Deal Finance Company, and we're hoping to get the financing package announced fairly soon. It's been negotiated through Brussels, bits of it are state aid, and it's quite a complicated financing package that's being assembled under the auspices of the Green Investment Bank. We hope that too out there in the market will start to bring rates down.